The key for sport after boxing eligibility row. Imane, Khelif and Lin Yu-ting each won gold in boxing at Paris 2024 amid a global furore of whether they were eligible to compete in the women's division. The controversy overshadowed the boxing and, at times, dominated coverage of the games around the world. At the closing ceremony on Sunday, the boxers will be center stage again. They have each been announced as flag bearers for their countries. Khelif for Algeria and Lin for Chinese Taipei. But the end of the Olympics does not mark the closure of this issue, as sport is left facing some key questions. How were the fighters able to win gold in the Olympics but not the World Championships? The World Championships were run by the Russian-led International Boxing Association, IBA, which disqualified the two fighters for reportedly failing what it called eligibility criteria following gender testing as a result of many complaints from several coaches. The IBA says blood testing on the two fighters was conducted in May 2022 and March 2023, and that the results conclusively indicated that the pair didn't match the eligibility criteria for IBA women's events. Since then, they have claimed that male XY chromosomes were found in both cases. IBA President Khelif also said that the tests show they were men. Lin did not appeal the decision, while Khelif did take her case to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, but then withdrew the appeal. However, the International Olympic Committee, IOC, suspended the IBA in 2019 amid integrity and governance issues, and then stripped it of its official status last year over a failure to make reforms. The IBA also contravened IOC guidance by allowing Russian competitors at its World Championships. This dispute meant the IOC was responsible for running the boxing competition at the Paris Olympics, as it was in Tokyo. It applies less stringent eligibility criteria. Despite being informed of the IBA's test results last year, the IOC has always recognized the boxers as female athletes, insisting that because they were born and raised as women and are registered as women in their passports, they are eligible for women's competition under their rules. Others argue that how someone is registered is not proof of their sex. However, the IOC has also questioned the legitimacy and timing of the IBA's tests, making the point that the boxers fought for years without being tested. It also questioned the IBA's credibility, pointing to a chaotic press conference held in Paris, which featured several inconsistencies, as evidence that their test results cannot be relied upon. Will Olympic boxing change its eligibility rules? In 2021, the IOC issued new guidance, asking individual sports federations to develop eligibility policies of their own, rather than insisting on a blanket policy based on testosterone levels. However, with the IOC currently in charge of Olympic boxing due to the dispute with the IBA, and as the controversy around Khelif and Lin has erupted, it has faced mounting pressure to come up with stricter rules of its own to protect the women's category and ensure fairness and safety. This is especially the case after a number of sports federations have toughened up their own sex eligibility regulations in recent years, banning transgender women from a light female competition and insisting that athletes with differences in sex development, DSD, medically lower their testosterone levels. There is no suggestion that Khelif and Lin are transgender. The IOC's eligibility rules for boxing therefore have not kept pace with other sports. The IOC abandoned genetic gender testing in 1999 and seems opposed to changing the rules, partly for fear of stigmatizing people, saying that every person has the right to practice sport without discrimination. IOC President Thomas Bach said, "It is not as easy as some may now want to portray it, that XX or XY is the clear distinction between men and women. This is scientifically not true anymore." However, Bach also said, if somebody is presenting us a scientifically solid system, how to identify man and woman, we're the first ones to do it. We do not like this uncertainty, so we would be more than pleased to look into it. An IOC spokesman has also said that this is not a black and white issue. They added, "There are many women with higher testosterone levels than men, so the idea that a test is some kind of magic bullet is not true. This is a minefield. If we can find a consensus, we will certainly work to apply that. This is a question in all sports. We are open to listen to anyone with a solution to that question. The IOC is always trying to balance inclusivity and fairness, to put it more broadly, also safety. That is a difficult one and something we will have to look at.